Welcome to the garden. Today I've got an update for you on our recently propagated and up-potted succulents. I want to show you that these methods really do work. These two plants were recently up-potted and they're doing exceptionally well. We have a bunch of new flowers and look at all of this new growth. It's just incredible. This other recently up-potted succulent has already adapted very well to its new container. I can even see some new growth on this plant down here. Eventually we'll probably end up dividing these. You can see we have several stems down here. I would love to split one of those off someday. This plant has a very succulent stem, so I was a little weary trying to propagate it. So I recently did a little test with just one of these little offshoots. I'd like to check up on the progress and see if these have rooted. Normally you wouldn't want to do this, but I'm curious to see if we have any roots. Doesn't look like any roots on our dancing bones. And you can see those shriveled leaves really need water. So I might try water propagation on that one. This one looks like it's doing okay. When they grip the soil like that, they usually have some roots. Looks like a nice root there. So, pretty healthy cutting. And lastly, we'll just check on this little guy. Ooh yeah, look at all that soil. You can really see how a stem cutting with a woody stem roots a lot faster. A succulent stem like this one usually takes a little bit longer to root and is more vulnerable to rot. And then a wild card like this cactus can be a little bit trickier, so we may try some water propagation. I'm just going to repot these. I think they're doing fine in this same pot. We'll just increase the amount of water and see if our dancing bones sets out any roots. Onto our recently propagated stem cuttings. These are the ones with our itsy bitsy spider. And look at all the new growth. That's a new crown. There's a new crown. There's one here about halfway along the stem, and one right back here too. We have a really great success rate here. The only one not doing great are these ones back here. And this plant is still doing fine. We still have a few leaf cuttings, and these bare stems are still green. We just lost one or two of our cuttings. And I knew that this was a delicate plant, so I fully expected some of these to die back. We had this paired with these, which are doing really well. Look at that. Not a single one has died back. And look at this wonderful surprise. We have a flower sprouting out of the middle of this plant. I absolutely love the shape and color of this plant. I can't wait to see what the flower looks like. Eventually we'll either divide this, up-pot it, or maybe even propagate some of these leaves. Although these kind of aloe type leaves can be difficult to root. Here's another one of our recently propagated plants. Here you can see where we've cut it back and it's sprouted 2 new points of growth after sending out this little plant. And I managed to get 2 cuttings out of the stem. We have the crown and a little middle segment, which already has 2 new points of growth. So now I'm going to divide these plants and maybe start propagating some of the taller ones. The soil seems really dry. In fact, this actually tipped over because it's so top heavy. So I want to start by just watering this in. That'll soften up the soil so that hopefully we don't break any roots. So now we'll tip it over and try to just slide these out of the soil. Beautiful. Wow. Look at the roots on those. Holy cow. What's going on here? Whoa, look at this. That's a root. Holy cow, it looks like a stem. That's amazing. Could probably use a little bit more water in here just to soften up that soil. So I'll find a natural gap in between the 2 plants and just very gently start breaking them apart. It looks like the Anacrampos is pretty shallow. So we'll start with that one. Again, we're just picking a natural spot in between the two plants and very lightly separating them. Look at all of those roots, wow. So we'll plant out one of our fuzzy ones back in the original pot. We'll fill that back in with soil, and then we'll find a new container for these other two. I'm gonna try to plant this in a tiny pot. This is actually the original container that they came in. And with our larger one, we're going to use that same size container it was just in. This is still very top heavy, so I'm going to cut the main stem all the way down to where it forks. Like that. Look at that hardy woody stem. That's gonna make an excellent cutting. In fact, I think it's a little too tall. So I'm gonna cut it right here where it kinks. That way the crown will be fairly low in the pot. And this stem is sturdy enough to poke right through that soil. So we'll just anchor it slightly. Try to get it right about at pot level. Wow, look at that. What a difference that makes. And actually, because this one is so long, we will propagate it right about halfway. I'm gonna very gently strip a few of those bottom leaves. There we go. That looks a little bit more balanced. And when we're all done, we'll finish cleaning those up with the spray bottle. But I wanna move on to our dancing bones. This has got a lot of new growth. If we get down low here, we can see most of the growth stops right about here. So that's where I'm going to start taking our cuttings. Wow, look at that one. That's a beauty. We do have enough space in this pot for one of the smaller ones. And I want to try to propagate our larger cutting in water. That's one of my favorite methods, and it works incredibly well. I'm really curious to see if we can break off some of these little pups. I'm not sure if this is going to work, but we're just going to try it out today. Oh my! Look at that! All of that space, and the roots are still in this tiny configuration. You can see where they've previously coiled around the base of that tiny pot. One of these. Like that. That's funny. So I'm going to gently remove some of this soil so we can get a better look at our plant. Wow, look at that. It really is still in that tiny configuration. Got a few roots here and there. That is surprising. I'm actually just going to break one of these off. Perfect! Look at that. We even have some roots. Wow, that could not have gone better. Now, I might want to let this heal for a day. It does look like we broke maybe a stem or a root there that was connected. So we'll set this aside for now. I want to go for the bigger ones. Those have a better chance of surviving on their own anyways. We'll just pull them apart. Even if they don't have roots, we'll treat these just like a stem cutting and plant them maybe to about here. So all this will be under the soil and should grow new roots. Wow, this is exciting. Ooh, that one just kind of broke off really easily. That's nice. Yeah, that one too. Wow, look at the structure on these plants. Where are they all coming from? I have a feeling we're gonna have a lot of these pretty soon. Let's keep going because this is awesome. Wow, there's another nice one with roots. Wow, look at that. That is so cool. Oh my gosh, look at them all. Another one with roots. Little nodes popping out. Oh, this is so cool. I've decided to start a few new tiny containers. These have the advantage of drying out really quickly. That means we can water more frequently, driving faster growth. So we'll pick out a few decent sized ones, try to get them around the same size. Oh my gosh, how exciting. I love propagating succulents. Wow, those are beautiful. And this one should just kind of sit right where it used to be. Look at that. You can't even tell we removed plants. But we have 2 brand new containers that just look incredible. Wow. Add some more soil on top. I hope you enjoyed this succulent propagation update. Thank you all so much for watching, and we'll see you next time.